Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you this morning. I think we all know that the Department of Defense's budget proposals, while trying to deal with a budget problem of serious impact, will, I think, if they're all adopted, the proposals will seriously compromise our national security. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today about one specific proposal, which I think is deeply troubling. I'm going to talk about the proposal in the Department of Defense budget that has to do with the divestment of the A-10 Thunderbolt. This is an aircraft that flies in Afghanistan. It's available in South Korea. It's one of the most effective close air support fighters that we have. As you know, the President's budget calls for the divestment of the entire A-10 fleet beginning in fiscal year 2015. And if this proposal is adopted, I believe it will create a serious gap in close air support and the A-10's other support missions, important missions that provide highly effective support to our ground troops. I was in Afghanistan just 2 weeks ago talking with our troops, and they say they love it when the Warthog is overhead because they know that their day is going to get a bit better. It may be ugly, as some have said, but regardless of its looks, it's a solid and reliable airframe that is easily sustained at a very low cost, and I think that's an important point. At its core, the A-10 represents a proven aircraft of unmatched survivability, maneuverability, and lethal armaments that is only surpassed by the deeply ingrained close air support culture and expertise of those pilots who fly it. There is no other fixed-wing aircraft, Mr. Chairman, that provides as proficient a service as the A-10 in conducting visual support operations below 1,000-foot ceiling while being able to effectively target the enemy. As I mentioned, our experience in Iraq and Afghanistan clearly demonstrates the A-10's well-documented capability to operate in rugged environments. The Air Force has argued that other platforms in its inventory can replace the close air support capabilities of the A-10, and I would respectfully disagree. While the F-15, the F-16, and B-1 and the B-52 are very effective aircraft that are important components of our inventory, none of these platforms can fully replace the capabilities of the A-10. The A-10 flies low, it flies slow, its armored hull allows it to be engaged on the battlefield faster, lighter, and at a higher flying altitude than higher altitude flying fighters. Closer communication with ground forces makes the A-10 close air support more accurate and lethal. On Wednesday, General Scaparrotti, the commander of U.S. forces in Korea, testified in the Armed Services Committee that as an infantryman, he has benefited from the close air support the A-10 provides in combat and believes it's important in the Korean Peninsula. Additionally, General John Campbell, Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, testified in the Senate Armed Services Committee saying, commanding the 101st in Afghanistan, we had an A-10 capability come in and provide close air support to our soldiers. It was a game changer. In recent years, the Congress has approved over $1 billion in upgrades for the A-10, new wings, new electronic packages, new helmets that make it a very modern aircraft with at least 15 to 20 years more of service. It would be, I think, a waste of taxpayer money to divest after such a strong investment. I urge you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member, to consider funding the A-10's mission so that we can most effectively protect our troops in combat and avoid the capability gap. Until then, we simply cannot, until that gap is closed, cannot adequately support our troops on the ground. Now, people say we're getting out of Afghanistan, we're not going to have a ground war, but this is a troubled world. Crimea, South Korea, all across the globe, we are facing enemies, and we may end up having to protect our troops on the ground. The A-10 is the best fighter that we have available to do so, and I appreciate your opportunity to speak about it today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Appreciate your being here, and you've highlighted some things that are important, I think, to all of us.
Appreciate it. Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much. Thank you.